rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to American Perspective. I am your host, Rick. Oh, my goodness, my Whiskey Warrior P1s over on the Rumble chat, man, they're all talking about where they're going to go. Well, there's a few in the Florida contingent that are basically saying, hey, come here to the free state of Florida. Yes, yes. And then there's a couple in Texas who are like, hey, don't forget about Texas. Texas is free, too. Free as in free country, not free as in free money. Well, to those of us who live behind enemy lines, you guys keep the lights on. Eventually, I'm sure we'll show up if things keep going the way that they're going. Yeah. Yeah, Mrs. Whiskey and I are still trying to debate and figure out what we're going to be doing. We still do have two dependents, and I'm not talking about children, although they are children, but we still have two dependents that keep us here. But we have been discussing where the next thing is going to be, where our next thing is going to be. So we're still discussing. The future is so uncertain. I don't want to steal the words, the future is so bright I got to wear shades, because, well, let's just say I'm not looking at a very bright future right now. If we do not find people who can stand up to these idiots that are attempting to take over not only our country, but that are definitely taking over the Democrat Party, well, I guarantee you're not going to get it out of the Democrats. Because the Democrats right now, even the middle-of-the-road Democrats, they're all, well, shall I say, wimps. Yeah. So, anyway. Anyway, all right. So yeah. And there we go. All right, let's go ahead and get things kicked off tonight. Tonight is the pledge is being recited by a heavenly host by the name of Buddy Weiser. May he rest in peace. And yeah. Anyway, if you are of mind, please stand. Remove your hat if you're wearing one, like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with our dearly departed soul, Buddy Weiser, as he recites the Pledge of Allegiance.
I hereby pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which she stands, one nation under one God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all her citizens. So help me God.
And I thank you, buddy, for all that you have done, or all that you did for this program. May you rest in peace, my friend. Kind of actually, it's sort of interesting side note, but I'm kind of glad that he's not here. Because let's just put it this way. There are certain things that I don't think that those folks who are, very patriotic Americans should see. And he definitely, I don't think he would be really happy right now. Anyway, yeah, he and I had our disagreements here and there, but yeah, he did a lot for this program. So May he rest in peace. If you would like to hear your rendition of the pledge played here on the program, all you need to do is record yourself reciting or performing the pledge in your style. Take that audio file, video file, whatever kind of file, and attach it to an email. And then address that email to me. Send it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. That's fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. I have 24 of these. I'd like to have 26 by the end of 2026. I know it'd be asking a lot to try and get them in by next week's 250th anniversary of the greatest country that has ever graced this planet. But, yeah, I'll accept them by the end of the year. 2 more. I just need 2 more. So if you would please, if you haven't already, please do so. And if you use your phone to record yourself, all you need to do is use the share option. That's the S-H-A-R-E option. Use the share option in order to send it off to me. And you can share it to fans, F-A-N-S, at AmericanPerspective.online. And I will get you into the rotation. All right, tonight's headline sponsor is none other. I'm wearing one of their patriotic, fantastic men's cotton polo shirts right now. It is theflagshirt.com. It's theflagshirt.com is the place to go to get all your patriotic styles and everything else. They're based out of Florida, by the way, folks. Maybe you ought to get that shirt order in quickly, because you have just 1 week left until our fantastic 250th anniversary of this great country. And, oh yeah, Fat Paws has one of these, but it's not the Fat Paws shirt. He just has one. It wasn't his favorite, though, so we won't call it the Fat Paws. Anyway, head on over to theflagshirt.com, and if you order $75 or more of their product, they will give you free shipping. They will provide you with free shipping. You know, I've ordered shirts and have had them arrive within 1 week, and I live on the opposite corner of the country from this company. So you should be able to get your shirts and accessories and all kinds of things in the red, white, and blue in time for the 4th of July Independence Day celebration, the 250th anniversary of this great country. So head on over to theflagshirt.com as quickly as possible. Take a look at all of their men's, women's, kids made in the USA, all kinds of things across the board, all in fantastic red, white, and blue and other patriotic styles. Go and check them out at theflagshirt.com. And don't forget, if you order $75 or more, they will give you free shipping. That is theflagshirt.com, and get yourself patriotized. All righty. Well, that memorandum of understanding, wow, did it last? It was supposed to be 60 days. I don't even think it made it a week. Well, Iran attacked a ship with drones, apparently caused some damage to the ship as it traversed the Strait of Hormuz. And the U.S. has now struck Iran in response to the attack on the cargo ship. I'm just telling you, people, I'm just saying this. And this is not in any, there's no animus here. There literally is no animus here. We just need to go in, wipe them out, and call it good. And by them, I mean the terrorist regime that is running it, the Ayatollahs and all of those folks. We just need to go in, wipe them out, and call it good. Consider them terrorists. They're not a nation state. All they are is terrorists. The world, in particular, the Middle East, will be a lot better for it, because they're not gonna bow down to us. And I don't know, you know, this is one of the failures that I actually have right here is is basically this is the failure of this country and this administration right now. I really thought that Donald Trump would not be sitting there going, well, okay, yeah, we kind of believe them. It's okay. We kind of believe them. We're going to believe them. I mean, that's all J.D. Vance is saying. It's like, well, we believe them. We believe that they're going to do what they're going to do. No, he should have gone in and just been like, hey, look, you guys screwed around on us since 1979. You've called for the death to America, since 1979. I'm just going to go in and clean up the mess and just get it over with. I mean, he should have got taken out Carg Island. He should have done all kinds of stuff and just been like, look, folks, every single time these guys violate their agreements, just hit them hard and harder than they could possibly hit us or anybody else in that neighborhood. Take control of the strait and just be like, look, you idiots, you guys are the ones that are doing this to yourselves. We're just carrying the hammer. I like what the, I think it was Airborne, I think 101st Airborne Division or something. It's like, kill them all and let God sort them out. Yeah, that's essentially kind of, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of good people over there, I'm sure. There's plenty of people who have been living under this fascistic and, totalitarian regime for so long that, well, all they want to do is live their lives outside of these monsters, but they don't have the help. They don't have it. See, before the Ayatollahs and the mullahs got into charge in Iran, you should go and take a look. Iran was a burgeoning country in the 60s. Their women were walking around in bikinis, not bikinis like you see today, but bikinis like you would see in the 60s, and bathing suits and things like that. They were a much more free country back in the 60s. And then the Ayatollahs and the mullahs got in charge. So this is not anything against the Iranian people per se. It's just anybody that supports that terrorist regime that's over there. I mean, they could be, Iran, if Iran would just stop being the religious zealots that they are, Iran could live like the Saudis, like the UAE, like Qatar. I mean, they could have all kinds of money flowing into their country. But no, because they are essentially stupid and supporting evil, they are essentially, in being radicals like they are, they're being incredibly stupid, and they're basically taking it out on the backs of all of the innocent people that are over there. Now, there may not be innocent people over there. I don't know. Maybe the country's been underneath the thumb of a dictator or the dictatorship for so damn long that those people are no longer, they've been indoctrinated into the system so bad that they can't even come out, okay, from it. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sure there are people who want to be free, who want to go back to that time in the 1960s and be like, hey, women were going to school. They were enjoying life. They were spending time on their beaches. They were living essentially what would be considered a Western style of world. And they ended up getting taken over by the mullahs and turned into the nasty place that they are now, hell-bent on making a nuclear weapon. They could be living a life of luxury. So, yeah. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, that actually kind of leads us into tonight's topic. Because with what's happening over in Iran, with what's happening in our own country right now, with what's happening within our politics, because remember, politics is downstream of culture and a reflection of culture, in my opinion. I kind of have to ask myself, where are the warriors? Where are the people and the actual warriors? Because, I mean, I hate to say this because, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Donald Trump has done so much for this country, and he has taken on so many potshots and everything else. But in this particular area, in Iran and dealing with Iran, he is acting more like a wimp politician than he actually is the same strong bull in the china shop that I was looking for and voted for. You know, a lot of people sit there and ask and say, hey, a lot of the left are like, hey, MAGA, do you have voters' regrets? Well, no, I don't have voters' regrets, but I do think this is a particular weak point for him, because he is trying to do this diplomatically. And unfortunately, sometimes you can't do that. You cannot deal with people who do not want to be dealt with on a diplomatic nature in a diplomatic nature. It doesn't work that way. And unfortunately, a lot of our politicians and a lot of the people here in the West, meaning the Western cultures, we all seem to think that, one, everybody has the same goals in life. Everybody has the same goal in life, which is to dream of freedom and everything else. But what a lot of people don't seem to understand, what a lot of Western cultures seem to understand, is there are cultures out there, and there are people within those cultures that are out there who do not want the same things that we do. And that's the mistakes that we make. Because we go in and we think that, hey, if we're going to go in and we're going to go into this country like we did in Afghanistan. We're going to go into this country in Afghanistan. They're going to want freedom so bad. They're going to want a constitution. They're going to want, everything that the West does. And what happens? Oh, believe me, don't get me wrong. There were groups of people over there that were like, oh, thank God the Taliban is out of here. Except there's only one problem. We failed in our promise to them. And we walked away, and now they're back under the thumb of the Taliban. And that is our fault. Did we go in, we make all kinds of promises, and then we walk away. We never finish the job. And that, unfortunately, is coming back yet again in this particular situation. Now, that being said, I do know that we do have some warriors, a few of them, that won't take any crap off of people. And some are firebrands, and some are smart, intelligent people, and some are sort of, well, they're kind of in the middle of the firebrand and the smarts. And I'm not saying that the firebrand isn't smart or that the smart person isn't a firebrand, but the thing is that they have individual qualities that seem to come out in particular fashions. One of which, I have to admit, is former Senator, now Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullin. He is not going to take any crap from anybody, especially not a purple-haired idiot in Congress. And, well, let's just say that this engagement didn't go very well for her. But here, let's go ahead and take a listen.
3,900 children were separated from their families.
450,000 kids were lost during the Biden administration.
Secretary,
you didn't say a word
Mr.
about
Secretary, Do not interrupt.
Don't you point your finger at me. Don't
I
be a
will
hypocrite.
point my finger
Don't you be
at
a hypocrite
you.
then. Then you be as you should be as upset about the 450,000 kids that were lost. You didn't say a word about it. For 4 years, you never said a word.
Mr. Secretary.
Could you put him in his place for
Don't yell at
You
me.
should
I'm
be
the
put in
good
your
guy.
place.
Yeah. Yeah. She should be put in her place. So should every one of these idiotic, stupid, complete, utter morons that are out there trying to act as though they are something. See, he points out a really good point. She's talking about almost 4,000 children being separated from their families during President Donald Trump's first administration. And Mark Wayne Mullen's like, okay, what about the 450,000 kids that were separated and lost during the Biden administration, where you didn't say a damn thing? See, now I would not care, and I honestly think that either Mark Wayne Mullen would be on the same page. If Senator Blue-Haired Idiot, or Purple-Haired Idiot, sorry, not blue-haired, but purple-haired idiot, if Senator Purple Hair over here would have been just as outraged at the 450,000 kids that disappeared during the Biden administration and made that known publicly, like she is doing over these, small 1%. I don't even think it's 1%. 4,000, yeah. There's about 1% of the total number. And she's sitting here and she's like, I'm trying to figure out where 4,000 of the kids that were separated. I hate to tell you this, folks, but if you come over in this country illegally, you did a crime. That crime causes you to be considered a criminal. And so, yes, you are going to be separated from your children. No different than any other criminal. If I go and perform Grand Theft Auto or something like that, well, that's a bad example, because here in Washington, apparently, or in the city of Seattle, you can do it like 12 or 14 or 15 or 100 times before you even get looked at. But anyway, I digress. If I were to commit Grand Theft Auto or Grand Theft something and I break the law, hell yeah, I'd be separated from my kids and my wife, and I'd be put in jail. That's all that happened during the Trump administration. That's all that's happened, is the basics of what is essentially criminal behavior. You do criminal behavior, you go to jail. That end of story. You don't, oh, hey, we're going to take your entire family and take your entire house. We're going to build it into a, warehouse or whatever. We're going to build that there. And then you and your family can live just in our protected custody. No, that isn't how this works. That isn't how this works. Anyway, and of course, I like the fact that he was calling her out for pointing the finger. It's like, hey, that's rude, number one. Pointing a finger is rude. It's rude, damn it. Anyway, I was just kidding. All right. Yeah. Well, Mark Wayne Mullen ain't going to take any crap. Speaking of not taking any crap, the DHS, which is under Mark Wayne Mullen, they're not taking any crap either. Well, I don't know. We talked about it, by the way. We talked about it. I talked about it last night, and I know that everybody's been talking about it. That SCOTUS decision in terms of the TPS with the Haitians and the Syrian refugees. Yeah, well, guess what? The, let's see, who is this guy? Trying to find, I don't know if this might be Bill Belusion. I don't know, but DHS General Counsel James Percival, I believe, is on this. And, well, let's just say he's got a message for all of those Haitians and Syrians who are now going to have to deport because their temporary protected status is gone. Take a listen.
Well, frankly, this case never needed to go to the Supreme Court. It's a very straightforward legal issue. The T in TPS stands for temporary, yet many of these designations go back decades. We have designations from 1998 for Hurricane Mitch that we're still trying to get rid of. But to answer your question, President Trump has been trying to end these programs since 2017. So these people have been on notice for 9 years that this day is coming. So what we would say now is it's closing time, which means you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. The good news is it's not too late to get a $2,600 check and a free flight home.
Now there's a warrior. Oh, yeah. Closing time. Anyway, that was just a good job there, Percival. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing: is that I don't know where these Democrats are coming from. See, for some reason, Democrats seem to have this belief that just because, and by the way, this goes for everything. That just because America is the land of opportunity, the land of milk and honey, the land of, great fortune and all of this other stuff, that we have a quote unquote obligation to share it. That it must be required for us to bring in every other poor, give me your poor, give me your downtrodden, give me all of that stuff, which was written on the Statue of Liberty. But that it's an obligation for us to do that. It's not an obligation. Never has been. And in fact, when the left sits there and talks about, you Christians and you not giving away all of your money, even Jesus said that you must do your work in secret. Meaning that you're not supposed to announce it from the top of the hills. You're not supposed to sit there and say, well, I gave $100,000 today. No, you don't do that. You do it in secret. Your charity needs to be in secret. Your charity needs to be done privately. It is not something that is to be utilized publicly to gain favor in other places. See, that's part of the problem. And if you do give, you give whatever you feel you can afford or that you can do. Okay? This is just nuts. You're sitting here and you're trying to say that we have an obligation to the rest of the world. I don't see a single thing in the Constitution that basically says that we will become A, the world's police, or B, the world's pocketbook. There's not one thing in there in the Constitution that states that. Now, if we want to do it through outside of the government, through our own charitable works, by all means, Americans should. We should be giving and being charitable. But that doesn't mean that it's required. That doesn't mean that it's a obligation. That doesn't mean that it's a requirement in order for, all of our tax dollars should, none of it should be sent to any kind of charitable stuff. The taxes were supposed to do only the very basic stuff here in America that not everybody is able, have the means to be able to do. That's it. Like defend the country. 6 out of 18 items in Article 1, Section 8 are having to deal with protecting the country. Well, there's another guy. So we got Mark Wayne Mullen. Mark Wayne Mullen ain't going to take no crap off of nobody. He's the firebrand. But there's another guy. There's another guy that I got my eye on. Let me tell you, this guy, he is young. He is smart. He is clever. He is, and he has no problem asking the questions. The question that makes a difference every single time, and it catches these idiots every single time. It's none other than Brandon Gill. Now, Brandon Gill was on a panel. They were in front of some of the organizations that are utilizing SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And yes, there is a reason why I emphasized the nutrition side. Let's go and take a listen to Brandon Gill as he is talking to a panelist who is in front of the committee who, well, let's just say he maneuvers her quite well because he's just that smart. Take a listen.
Should SNAP dollars be spent on sodas?
The purpose of the SNAP program is to provide families to have food and beverages.
Should it be spent on sugary sodas?
I am happy to talk about hunger and nutrition, but not dictate what Americans should or should not eat or may have access to.
I'm asking if tax dollars should be used to pay for sodas.
Taxpayers' money should be utilized to ensure that individuals have access to the food that they need to survive or may be accessible to them.
Do they need sugary sodas to survive?
Some of them do, who do have low blood issues, who may have kidney issues.
You think they need Coca-Cola to survive? Do you think that's the most appropriate use of our tax dollars?
I am not a physician, but medical records and expertise.
You were just citing the health needs, apparently, of the American people.
Okay. This woman, apparently, well, she ain't all that smart. Because she claims that sugary sodas are actually required to survive. Now, she mentioned that some people need the sugar to survive. I would assume she's talking about diabetics. And I'm going to be telling you right now that as far as, not that I have diabetes, but I've dealt with enough diabetics, they don't drink a lot of sugary sodas. In fact, if anything, they usually would drink like juice, natural juices. For an example, orange juice as a common thing. So, anyway, well, he continues to grill her. This clip's longer, but he continues to grill her. This was shortly after that exchange. And, well, let's just say it's still not going away, or not, still not going away from this line of questioning. Let's go ahead and take a listen.
Is there nutritional value to sugary sodas? It's a yes or no question.
I am not an expert. I would have to look at the dietary guidelines.
You're not an expert. I don't think that there's nutritional value to sugary sodas. I think most people in this room would agree with that assessment. But you have no opinion?
I'm here to talk about the food needs and the hunger crisis that individuals here in America are facing.
Are you that ideologically dug in that you want our tax dollars paying for sugary sodas, that you will not, in a straightforward way, admit that sugary sodas are not healthful for the American people?
I think that focusing on soda when people are going hungry.
We spend a lot of our tax dollars are spent on soda. That's why I'm asking about it. You appear to be so ideologically dug in that you won't answer a simple question that's not an appropriate use of our tax dollars, and that does not, in fact, make the American people more healthy.
I won't answer because there's no data proving that.
Do you need data to determine whether drinking soda is healthy?
I think
I'm sorry, it's a serious question. Is there some Do you believe that perhaps drinking sodas every day is healthy?
The worst health outcome is hunger. When the individuals don't have the resources.
Do you satiate hunger with Coca-Cola?
I did not say that.
But you said that the worst health outcome is hunger, and I'm asking you about sugary sodas.
And I'm focusing on the nutrition needs and making sure that children have the resources.
Is your organization funded by soft drink makers?
I am not in charge of development, but no.
It's not. Okay. Is your organization funded by organizations that make money from food stamps? Do organizations who profit off of food stamps fund your organization or businesses?
I mean, I can't comment to that. Happy to talk about the resources that needed.
Does General Mills fund your organization?
I don't have access to that information.
I do. It's right here. They do fund your organization. Do they profit off of food stamps?
Retailers are the major beneficiaries.
Do you think that that's a conflict of interest?
That's where EBT dollars are utilized.
Yes, and they're profiting off of your advocacy. Do you think that that's a conflict of interest? I think most people think that's a conflict of interest. I know you don't want to answer.
Well, again, like I said, Brandon Gill, smart guy. He just, I mean, in the rodeo term, he rode her hard and put her away wet. Let me just put it that way. Oh my gosh. All right. So let me do some clarification here because I made a statement. People are coming in. Look, diabetics have to monitor their blood sugar level in a very strict way, depending upon which type of diabetic you are, type 1, type 2, type 3. The thing about it is that, you know, the government created this program. It's called Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. Now, the government's not telling you, hey, if you're on SNAP, you can never buy sugary sodas. You just can't use, in this particular case, the proper way would be you just can't use that or the SNAP dollars, the EBT program, in order to do it. If you have $5 in your pocket and you want to buy that 2 liter of Coke, go for it. But it's you using your own money. Any doctor, I don't care who it is, any doctor will tell you drinking soda, and by the way, soda is like the top thing, apparently, that EBT dollars are being used for. It may not be number one, but it's certainly up there. Okay? Soda pop, however you pronounce it, okay? Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, all of that stuff. Here's the thing. You should be getting stuff that is not sugar. Any doctor in the world will tell you drinking sugary sodas, things like those high energy drinks, which have a lot of soda, a lot of caffeine, a lot of sugar, a lot of caffeine. You know, the best kinds of drinks that you can drink health-wise, the number one, water. Just pure water. Okay? Just water. That's it. And as far as food stuffs go, okay, you should not be buying processed foods. You should be buying whole healthy foods like fruits, vegetables, potatoes, rice, staples. The EBT should be used for basics and staples. That's what they should be doing. Now, don't get me wrong, because again, I am a strict constitutionalist. And I don't know under Article 1, Section 8 where EBT cards and supplemental nutritional assistance programs are in the Constitution as a federal government responsibility. The fact is, it's not there. This is an unconstitutional program. But all of that being said, if we are going to be spending tax dollars on that kind of stuff, it should do what it says. Supplemental nutritional assistance program. That means fruits, veggies, basic staples like potatoes, rice, beans, those kinds of things. Not a whole bunch of like Doritos, processed foods, sugary Coke, and everything else. Believe me, try this experiment sometime. If you really want to see how bad, especially the caramel colored, meaning Coke, Pepsi, that kind of stuff. If you really want to see how bad those things are, all right, what you should do is buy a can. Doesn't have to be a big can, but buy a can of soda. Leave it sit. 6 months, year, whatever. Don't refrigerate it. Just leave it sit. Okay? And then open the damn thing after the expiration date. Trust me. I had to go and dump a whole bunch of pop out after it'd been sitting for about 18 months. And the sick, disgusting crap that came out of those cans when I was emptying them, whew, it swore me off of Coke and pop for quite some time. And in fact, if you talk to any health nutritionalist, they'll tell you the carbonated beverages are not that great for you. You should be drinking water-based drinks, tea, coffee without any kind of sugar in it. Processed granulated sugar is even bad for you. Honey is better for you in terms of a sweetener than processed white granulated sugar is. And by the way, too, there are so many different uses for Coke. So many different uses for Coke that I couldn't even imagine. I mean, you can use it to clean off battery acid. You can use it to clean rust off of chrome bumpers. You can use it to clean rust off of stainless steel. I mean, that stuff is just absolutely nasty. Anyway, I digress. Well, here's why we need the Warriors. Here's why we need the Warriors. Gavin Newsom was on his, this is Gavin Newsom or whatever. I don't know. He was on his podcast. And, let's just say, he talks a good game. He talks about how there should be no kings. He talks about how, all of this other stuff is going on here. But Gavin Newsom is finally done. He is now saying the plan, the overarching plan, out loud. Take a listen to this.
So you're talking about expanding to 13, and it's interesting. I mean, it is a great historical, and people forget it. The last time it was done again was under Lincoln. There's no constitutional constraints on.
The first thing that needs to happen is court reform and court expansion.
Yeah, look, you're getting me closer to your point of view, and you challenged me. I know we were talking. I was on your pod down in LA a few months ago, and this notion of 13, and then just looking at the district courts as that framework, sort of anchor. The old school, the ember of a traditional,
for a guy who recognized the urgency of the moment with Prop 50, and in fact, the only Democratic state to have successfully redrawn its maps ahead of 2026, that is what I think is the natural evolution.
God bless
for somebody
you.
like you.
I'm with you. I'm done winning arguments. We got to win.
Yeah,
and we got to consolidate power.
There it is, folks. We got to consolidate power. I guarantee you that if the Democrats get back in charge, you're looking at several things. One, packing the court, which is what Gavin Newsom was talking about. But let me tell you who they're going to pack the court with. They're not going to pack the court with a jurist, a constitutionalist. They're not going to pack the court with somebody who is, well-versed in constitutional law. No, they're going to pack the court with somebody who is a complete, utter, stupid moron like Ketanji Brown Jackson. If you want more Ketanji Brown Jacksons on the court, there you go. That's what they're going to look to do. That's what they're going to look to do. And as of right now, because of the fact that the courts did what they did with the temporary protected status, and by the way, if you're sitting here thinking that the court did something bad, no, you obviously are a complete, utter, stupid moron because of the fact that you don't understand the actual written law. Temporary protected status is literally temporary. It can be rescinded at any time, any point in time. Well, it's not just Gavin Newsom that's talking about packing the court. No. Seth Moulton. Yeah, you remember him? He was all pissed off last night. I showed you that video of him being all pissed off because he got asked whether or not he endorsed Graham Plattner, the Nazi-loving sexual deviant up in Maine. Yeah, anyway. Here, take a listen.
With me now is a member of the House Democratic Caucus, Congressman Seth Moulton from Massachusetts. He's also running for Senate. Congressman, good to see you again. What's your thought on what you heard there from James Carville? That these are not Democrats. Is the tent big enough for Daria-Liza Villa-Chevalier?
I mean, look, we've got to have a big tent if we want a majority. And the reality is that while the media and a lot of talking heads like to try to point out all the differences here, there are a lot of things that we're united on. Like let's make sure that we stop ICE from terrorizing our cities. I've said ICE not only needs to be abolished, they need to be prosecuted. I think there's a lot of Democrats who would agree on that. There's a lot is made in the media about, the divisions in the Democratic Party over exactly how we want to deliver health care. But Democrats are united that everybody in America deserves health care. And meanwhile, we're trying to oppose a party that's trying to take away health care from millions of Americans, maybe 25 millions of Americans under Trump and MAGA's plan. So there's a lot more that unites us than divides us.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, he seemed to welcome these newcomers.
All right, let me back out of here. That clip is a lot longer than I anticipated it to be. Give me just a second here. But Moulton says the TPS ruling, they're basically saying that 350,000 people here should go back to a country that the State Department under Marco Rubio has said Americans can't travel there because it's unsafe. And of course, for some of them, going back for a lot of young kids who were born here in America with Haitian parents, they've never been outside or never been to this country before, a country that is deemed too unsafe, too dangerous for Americans to travel to. It will tear apart families. It will upend communities. American citizens will see their classmates just ripped out of their schools. And on top of this, it's going to take away a lot of healthcare workers. Oh, really? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. He also addressed that there should be term limits and there should be ethics reforms and there should be, we need to expand the court. All this stuff is coming, folks. I mean, look, even when the Ragin' Cajun James Carville is actually on the side of common sense, logic, and reason by saying that the Democrat Party should not be embracing these Democrat socialists. Whoa. You've got a problem here. And again, I'm just going to point this out. I mean, I understand that the Democrats want health care for everybody. Okay. Make a constitutional amendment because, again, that's not a constitutional thing. That's not a constitutional thing. Now, even some of the people in the Democrat Party, the leaders of the Democrat Party, well, they're even getting called out by people that would traditionally be on their side. For an example, CNBC. CNBC. I mean, we're talking about as left-wing as it can come. And, well, they're it's called the Squawk Box is the show. And they're asking the question of Timu Obama, who literally has no balls. They're asking him some questions with regards to the socialists that have shown up in their party.
Republicans are trying to destroy right now.
I remember last time you were on and you said almost the same thing that you just said, and we all nod. And I know it takes time from the interview and everything, but it doesn't really answer the question that Andrew said. We all agree with what you just said, but it totally shifted from what we're talking about is whether when the Democratic Party includes someone in that tent that believes these things, I don't think any of those things are going to solve what you just talked about or an answer to any of our problems that you delineate so eloquently. They were saying, you're next. About Hakeem Jeffries, you're next, you're next, you're next. You can't think this is a positive development in New York politics, can you? And they'll just, Dems will be Dems or something like that. I don't see how you can say that. You need to reject those things. I think.
First of all, I've clearly rejected those things. That's number one. Number two, and my record speaks for itself. This is not a Dems will be Dems situation. Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America right now. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and he's doing a much better job than you ever could. Yeah, he's doing things for America. Yeah. Anyway, Timu Obama. Well, he continued on, and let's just say he lied again. He did. He lied again. Here, take a listen.
My question to you is slightly different. I wanted to just talk about Iran for a second. You mentioned oil prices, and I think it's actually surprised people, at least some, depending on what political side you're on and other things, just how quickly we've seen prices come down. WTI crude this morning is $69.79. And by the way, I'll raise my hand and say, there was a time when I would talk to different analysts and others that would say, you know what, the price of oil is not going to come down for months before you actually have, or until you have not just a ceasefire, but a real deal. What do you think of whatever you think the deal is on the table? What do you think of the fact, these prices have come down at a level very similar to what the president said they would?
Well, first of all, the price of oil should have never skyrocketed to begin with. That's number one. Number two, perhaps even more importantly, prior to this reckless and costly war of choice being launched by Donald Trump, the price of gasoline was $2.98. Right now, it is $4.20. That's the average price. Right now, as of today.
It was under $4.
Everyday Americans are feeling that pain in a way that perhaps doesn't
there's a
hit
national
the same
average.
way
I can't.
for people who are wealthy, well off, and well connected.
It's 393 today, the national average, so it's not 420. We got it up on the screen.
The national average was 420 as of yesterday. This morning, it's 393. That's still much higher than the $2.98, and that has an impact on working class Americans, middle class Americans. But that's only part of the puzzle. Housing costs are too high. Grocery bills are too high. Utility bills are too high. Healthcare costs are too high. Childcare costs are too high. People are clearly struggling, and that's what public sentiment shows unequivocally. And Donald Trump has failed to solve that challenge, and we are going to address it decisively.
Actually, Timu. Yeah. Actually, let me show you something, Timu Obama. See, there's people like me who can actually research and, actually utilize the internet and Google things without Google, because I use Brave. But that being said, let's take a look. Oh, what's the highest? Under the Trump administration. It looks as though the highest under the Trump administration, the highest recorded was $110.90 a barrel. And that was in March of this year. Now let's go back. Oh, go back. Ooh, we're talking within a 5-year span. Let's go back. Let's Let's go back. Holy smokes! What the hell is this? Oh. The price of oil, $115.95. It's $116 a barrel. When was that? Oh, hell. It's higher than what it has been under the highest during the Iran conflict. But May 30th, 2022. What the is he saying? Who was president in 2022? I seem to have forgotten. Well, Biden would have forgotten that he was president. I didn't, because it was Joe Biden. And his 9% inflation. See, we're sitting here complaining about 3% inflation, roughly, a little below. And it was 9% in 2022. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of gas prices, let's talk about gas prices. Oh, let's see. Here's a gas price, $3.90. $3.90 as of today, according to AAA. Oh, let's take a look at the current average. Yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, it was $3.22. Okay, so it went up. All right, a month ago, it was $4.49. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Except when you go to the highest recorded average price, highest recorded average price for regular unleaded was $5.016. You want to know what that recorded date was? Oh, holy crap. June 14th, 2022. Yeah. Who was the president? June 14th, 2022. Ha! Once again, Biden. You're sitting here and you're bitching and moaning about this. Oh, not to mention diesel. Diesel, the highest diesel price went to $5.81 a gallon, 81.6 a gallon. And that was recorded at 6/19 of 2022. Timu, you're out of your depth. That's all it is. You're out of your depth. Oh, but you know what? As much as I talk about the Democrat Party and how the Democrat socialists are taking over, and the socialists and the Marxists and everything else are taking over all of this, well, let me just point something out to you. Okay. Not just them. Apparently, Scott Pressler. You know Scott Pressler. The guy who was the instrumental in flipping Pennsylvania from blue to red. Yeah, that's Scott Pressler. Well, apparently he went to South Dakota. Who's the person in South Dakota? Who's the senator right now? Who's like refusing to pass the SAVE Act? In fact, those buttheads went off for another vacation without passing the SAVE Act. Who was that guy? Oh, yes. John Thune. Well, apparently Scott Pressler was in South Dakota, and the GOP sergeant at arms actually, quote unquote, attacked Scott Pressler, kicked him out of the South Dakota State GOP convention. Yeah, take a watch here.
Big on Facebook too, and I'm the asshole saying you can't come in because guess what? You're posting this little piss and moan session on Facebook, so you just get the hell out of here. Thank you.
Ooh. You see how the grassroots are welcomed in Senate Majority Leader Thune's territory. Interesting, my friends. I don't think this is a good reflection of the South Dakota GOP. But I thank him for his honesty, though. What's your Matthew Bruner, Sergeant at Arms?
Yeah. Well, the good news is well, he was the sergeant at arms. He apparently has been kicked out now. He's been fired as the sergeant of arms. He's been relieved of his duty for that. So, yeah, there you go. All right, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com and get yourself an account. Sign up and sign in. And once you are signed in, make sure you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, don't forget, before you take off, to give me a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or in the case of 3 Chevy, a thumb sideways or at an angle across all the platforms, X, YouTube, Facebook, and of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you tomorrow night, 1 hour later, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. Have a great rest of your evening, and good night, everybody.